Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to start our new topic. We have already studied about hemocytometer, and we have learned how we can count manually cell, or how we can count RBCs, platelets, or WBCs in any sample, in any blood sample. So you should learn completely about hemocytometer, or especially about Newbar chamber. So now we will study counting of different cells on Newbar chamber. We will learn about the principle and procedure of total leukocyte count, and then we will especially concentration on the calculation of WBCs, or we will study about the formula of W to calculate WBCs leukocyte count. Or then we will study about the normal values and the leukocytosis and causes of leukopenia. Here, basic principle about the total leukocyte count. The blood is diluted with a fluid that causes hemolysis of RBCs but has no effect on WBCs, which can then be counted in counting chamber. So this is a basic principle. First of all, we diluted with our sample with a fluid, with a commercially prepared fluid to dilute sample. After dilution, we can observe that RBCs get lysed, because we need only WBCs for counting. Then we need to lyse the RBCs. After lysis of RBCs, we load the sample or solution, or the formed solution on the Newbar chamber for counting. We need some important things to calculate and to quantify the WBC, total leukocyte count in our blood. So first of all, we need a thoma white cell pipette. It's a special type of pipette used, especially graduated pipette, which is especially used for collection of calculated amount of blood from a sample. And then and basic instrument or basic slide, which is actually Newbar counting chamber, which is mostly used in the counting of different cells in our blood. And then is the diluting fluid Turk solution. Turk solution is used in the counting of W, especially in the counting of WBCs, because Turk solution has the ability to lyse the RBCs. After lysis of RBCs, we only WBCs remain in the sample. Then we analyze the WBCs on Newbar chambers. There is another thing is mechanical counter is optional. We can use counting in different other ways. Just we have we need just an important counter to count the WBCs. Then there is a need of blood sample, जिसकी हमने क्या है WBC काउंट करना है. Then we need a microscope, a light, or an accurate microscope. First step is in the procedure of counting of total leukocytes. We draw blood, as we have studied, as I am told you that Thomas white cell pipette is actually graduated pipettes. We fill this pipette at point 0.5 mark, up to point 0.5 mark. Then we will dilute this this collected point 0.5 mark sample with 11 drug solution. We can prepare the dilution in outside of the Thomas cell pipette, or in test tube. We With how we can dilute in test tube, we can go just for the collection of 0.02 microliter of blood, and with 0.38 milliliter of Turk solution. So we will dilute the blood. I am going to repeat it. We will dilute blood with 0.02 milliliter or milliliter with 0.38 milliliter of cell solution. So it will be so then we will found that it is actually a 1:20 dilution. So with the passage of time you will learn about the how we can we make dilution. But with the use of special pipettes, or with the use of counted pipettes, we can dilute our blood fluids easily. So it's not a big deal. We You can learn it in practice. So then we after dilution with Turk solution, we will gently mix the rotating pipette. Usually we avoid the over mixing. We avoid the rapid mixing lysis of because of chances of the lysis of WBCs, RBCs, etc. So we will gently mix the pipette, or gently mix the blood with the fluid. Then we will wait for few minutes to lyse the RBCs. Then after few minutes we will draw a proper or few drops of this fluid, or this whole solution on the new bar chamber, and we will place cover slip on the new bar chamber. And after this is actually a charging of new bar chamber. So after charging of new bar chamber, we will study or count the WBCs under the microscope, 10x and then 40x lens. In especially you should keep in mind that we count the WBCs in corners big squares of new bar chamber. In central big square, in central large square, we will not study, or we will not count the WBCs. Whenever we will need to count the WBCs, we will count the WBCs in corner squares. So a corner, four big squares of corners. Here is a very important thing is that how we can calculate the blood WBCs in 1 centi and 1 cubic centimeter, or and 1 cmm of the blood as follows. So there's simple formula. Cell counted means कितने सेल आपने जो है न्यू बार चैम्बर के चारों बॉक्सेस में काउंट कर लिए, जितने आपने उन चारों बॉक्सेस में सेल WBCs काउंट किए, आपने उसको डाइल्यूशन कि हमने कितनी डाइल्यूशन बनाई थी. ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव मेड 1:20 dilution. So we have make actually dilution is 20. So there is a blood dilution is actually 20 dilution. So then we will divide this whole thing with volume counted. So a volume of new bar chamber और volume of counted. So ये जो है बेसिक फार्मूला है, याद रखिएगा. किसी भी स्टडी में जिसमें आप फोर कॉर्नर्स और न्यू बार चैम्बर के यूज़ कर रहे हैं, उसमें हम ये फार्मूला यूज़ करेंगे. इफ़ एन इज़ द नंबर ऑफ सेल्स काउंटेड, अगर एन सपोज एन इज़ द नंबर ऑफ सेल काउंटेड है, जो आपके पास 10 है, 20 है, 25 है, 100 है, 50 है, 500 है, जितने भी सेल काउंटेड आए, देन वी विल मल्टीप्लाई दिस counted cell with blood dilution, which is actually 20. So n multiply 20, then we will divide this volume of actually new bar chamber is 0.4 0.4. So we will divide the n into multiply by 20 over 0.4. So after calculation we can get the total number of total leukocyte count, which is we can divide 20 over 20 to 0.4. Then we will get n into 50. So it is very important formula whenever you will study or manually count the leukocyte. Then you will learn that के जो n सब नंबर हैं, जो जितने WBC काउंट किए हैं, उनको 20 से मल्टीप्लाई करके 4.4 पर डिवाइड लाजमी करेंगे. then we will actually found the total leukocyte count in blood. Here is an important thing about the normal values of WBCs. Actually, WBCs in adults is usually 4,000 to 10,000 per cmm. It means in adults, men or female, usually it's vary from 4,000 to 10,000 per cmm. In infants, 10,000 to 25,000 per cmm, and in 1 year children, actually 18,000 to 8,000 to 15,000 per cmm. It's the normal values of normal ranges of total leukocyte count in blood. There are two important clinical condition, which is one is known as leukocytosis and the other is known as leukopenia. Leukocytosis is actually the increase in number of WBCs above normal range. It means WBCs का normal range, upper normal range से बढ़ जाना है, and the upper normal range is actually 10,000 in case of adults. So more than 10,000 RBCs in a blood is known as leukocytosis. So it can happen in pneumonia, UTI, wound infection, leukemias, acute hemolysis, myeloproliferative disorders, corticosteroid therapy, neoplasm, and traumas. So you should keep in mind about leukocytosis and some condition in which leukocytosis can occur. Here is another important clinical condition is known as leukopenia. Leukopenia is actually the decrease in number of RBCs below normal range. It means decrease in number of RBC, WBCs below normal. 4,000 RBCs mean in adults, less than 4,000 WBCs in blood is actually the condition is leukopenia. So there are some important causes of leukopenia like aplastic anemia, malaria, infectious hepatitis, typhoid, congenital causes, or idiopathic means some causes are not understandable. Drugs, radiations, SLE, actually sickle cell, it's not sickle cell anemia, it's mean systematic lupus erythematosus is actually autoimmune disease, then dengue fever. So here, we have learned about the total leukocytes count. I'm going to summarize this topic. We in manual Nowadays we have many automated analyzer available in our hematology laboratory, but sometimes we have to verify the automated results with manual to check the to check the efficiency of the machine or automation. So how we can manually count the WBCs? We can count the WBCs manually by this method. Simply हमें करना क्या है, हमें जो है एक टर्क सोल्यूशन के अंदर उसको डाइल्यूट करना है, सैंपल को जितना हमने मेंशन किया। डाइल्यूट करने के बाद न्यू बार चैम्बर पर उसको लोड करना है और माइक्रोस्कोप के ज़रिए हमने WBCs को काउंट करना है। हमें इजीली WBCs जो हैं वो उस पर नज़र आ जाएंगे। इन्फो हमने जब न्यू बार चैम्बर पढ़ा तो हमने बात की थी, हमने 4 बिग स्केयर्स की बात की थी। सो 4 बिग स्केयर में जितने भी स्मॉल स्केयर्स हैं हमने उन सब के अंदर क्या करना है, काउंटिंग करनी है WBCs की। सो आफ्टर काउंटिंग वी विल कैलकुलेट दी टोटल ल्यूकोसाइट काउंट। सो हाउ वी विल कैलकुलेट द टोटल ल्यूकोसाइट्स? वी हैव एन इंपॉर्टेंट फार्मूला लाइक कितने सेल हमने काउंट किए थे चारों बॉक्सेस में, उसको मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे डाइल्यूशन से, डाइल्यूशन फैक्टर, एंड वी हैव diluted the blood with 20. Actually the dilution was the 20, so 1:20 dilution is actually 20. So we will multiply the counted number of WBCs with dilution. So after multiplication we will divide divide this with volume of chamber. So actually a volume of chamber is actually 0.4 in large scale boxes. So after multiplication we will divide the answer with 0.4, so we will get the total leukocyte count in per cmm. So unit is cmm, uh, cubic millimeter. So it's actually all about the total leukocytes count. So it's an important thing. It is very important conditions, clinical significance, clinical condition leukopenia and leukocytosis is very much important in case of MCQs and in clinical practice especially.